Coming up now on Animal Outtakes, an incredible experience. We tour the only accredited orangutan sanctuary in the country. Join us as we learn about the chimpanzees and orangutans at the Center for Great Apes. Hear stories of survival, plus a first of its kind, and an unexpected tale of redemption. This and much more straight ahead on Animal Outtakes. The Center for Great Apes. It's a permanent sanctuary for orangutans and chimpanzees located in Wachula, Florida. The endangered animals who reside there have been rescued or retired from the entertainment industry, from research labs, or even from the exotic pet trade.
This was one of my two original boys from Miami from the tourist attraction.
For more than 30 years, Patty Reagan has made this sanctuary her life's mission. Along with her team of caregivers and an army of volunteers, they've been able to sustain, support, and grow the sanctuary to what it is today.
You know, when I came up here with 5 apes from Miami, all I wanted to do was give them a home forever. That was all. And then we took a few more and a few more. I don't know how many we had.
Happens.
We have rescued 86 great apes in 30 years. This is our 30th anniversary.
Wow.
And I expanded about 6 years ago to maybe be able to take 12 more, and in that time we've taken 22. So we had to expand more than we even expected. So Marco was wild caught in Africa, and so was Butch, his buddy. I don't see Butchie right now. He might be coming down in a minute. Marco is a tiny little guy. He's going to show off a little bit for you. Adult male chimpanzees are 150 to 190. He's 79, 80 pounds. The circus trainers that owned him in the 60s, when they bought him, he had rickets, and they believe he's a bit of a dwarf, as dwarfism too. So this boy, he worked in a circus for 17 years, and then he spent the next 30 years in a backyard in South Carolina.
Why do private parties own these magnificent animals when they really don't know how to take care of them?
They don't anymore. It's changing. Laws are changing, and there's a few left. Hi, Butch. There's Butch.
Hey!
Butch is 51. He was the first adult male that we rescued and brought in here in 2000. You know, in the old days, I mean, you could buy these animals out of the wild, and it's been illegal for many years to do that. The oldest ones we have here were legally caught, put into circuses and entertainment and so forth. But I think, you know, laws are changing. People fall in love with them, but they don't realize that they're going to be adult great apes and that they need a lot of care, a lot of space, a lot of special, you know, handling and ability to be themselves and not be in someone's garage. So the nice thing, we have right now 14 chimpanzee habitats and 12 orangutan habitats. They're all connected with over 2 miles of tunnels. So Butch and Marco are in this little geodesic dome today, but they can go over to a much bigger area and visit other friends and travel around the sanctuary. So there's all kinds of opportunities in the chutes where they can go up and greet other chimpanzees, and the orangutans can greet other orangutans. But if there's aggression, or if it's a group that doesn't get along, no, they won't do it. But there's many here that can move from one group to another. For instance, I've got some teenagers that grew up in their family group, but their aunt and their grandmother and their mother, like, you're too active, so they go and play with a younger group. But then they'll come back and visit their grandmother or their mother. And that is something we can do here that's not even done in zoos, because we have so many options for them to visit other groups. And it's called fission fusion, and it happens in the wild too, where a chimp will move from one group to another and come back to their natal group maybe. There are 7 chimpanzees in here. They were stranded in Los Angeles in a canyon. It was an animal sanctuary that closed. They went bankrupt in 2019. There were 40 chimps left. Nobody had space for them. And 5 sanctuaries across the country, chimpanzee sanctuaries. We spent 3 years raising money, building habitats, and we each took a group. So the sanctuary, chimpanzee sanctuary community, little drama. And the interesting thing about these chimpanzees is they were all born in a biomedical research lab in New York. And when the lab shut down, they were sent out to California to this place that cared for them. And then when they shut down, they were just stranded. And they were in a very tiny cage on concrete their whole life, even in California. When they first got here, they wouldn't step on the grass. They were afraid of grass. It took them like a week before somebody finally said, we can go out and play there. People don't realize that they need to learn to be themselves too. And you know, seeing these big males show off like this, it's a lot of testosterone raging right here to your visitors. We're not open to the public, so they're kind of showing off for you. These are why chimps don't make good pets. Hannah? I see you, Hannah, girl. So this habitat is for a group of 8 chimpanzees, and Hannah's going to come down to say hello to us. Hi, Hannah. And here comes Murray. Murray's going to come over with a big run, so just be prepared. He's the dominant male of this group and a very sweet boy. He was a pet in New York for many years, and he came here in 2010 and had not really ever been near a chimp, but now he leads a group of chimps. Yeah, come over here and say hello. He says, I want to greet you. So Murray's about 31 right now. So he's just, yeah, he wants to make sure that Marcia sees him too.
Hey!
Hi, Murray. You know, while they're intelligent, they're sentient, they're wonderful animals, they are extremely strong. They have great big canine teeth. They have minds of their own, and they can be very, very dangerous. So people, we do not go in with them, we don't handle them, but we want to facilitate them being with each other. Even though these both have been raised by humans and thought they were human children in homes, getting them to learn to live with their own species is our goal. And having them have a quality lifetime with space.
Do you ever go into the habitats?
Never. I was just saying they're very dangerous.
Okay.
Even though the ones that I did raise originally, I would never go in with them because they're so strong they could crush me out of affection. They wouldn't let me out. So I have relationships with them through the mesh. We cut nails, we brush hair, but all their caregivers do. Their caregivers do husbandry, check their teeth, check their ears in the morning, no wounds, let's cut their nails if they need it. But it's all through protected contact. And it would be irresponsible for us to go in and try to interact with them. So all of this is still the chimpanzee area. Most of these are Hollywood chimpanzees that retired here 15 to 20 years ago and are living their lives out.
Are they using as many?
No. So pretty much the Center for Great Apes has been the primary sanctuary in the country that has been part of ending great apes in entertainment. My wonderful colleagues around the country have taken lab chimps. They're primarily former lab animals that go there, and so that helps with the research end of things. But the Center for Great Apes has taken, of our over 85 apes, probably 60 have been out of Hollywood, live stage shows, circuses, and once we would accept an ape, the trainer would have to agree to never work a great ape again. So it's partly the Center for Great Apes that has taken them, worked with the trainers. You know, I give them credit for saying we're finally going to stop working great apes. I mean, that was the beginning. But also CGI, computer graphic imaging, now doesn't make it necessary to use an animal and take a baby great ape from their mother and train them. You know, so CGI has been part of it, like the Planet of the Apes movies that just came out 6 to 8 years ago. They were all CGI, and but we have worked with a number of, I think we have 6 Hollywood trainers, several circus trainers that have said we're not using them anymore. Harry is the most amazing swinger and brachiator.
He is a big boy.
So Harry's 22, and he worked in Hollywood, came here about 7 years ago, and he has 2 brothers that were already here too.
Did he recognize them when he came?
They never saw them. They were pulled as babies in the breeding center and sold to trainers. I think that, I don't know that it makes a difference in the actual rescue of the animal, but they are challenging if they've had a rough background. If we've got a couple chimps that were very badly treated and they still have abnormal behaviors, so we have to be so patient with them and so take a long time and realize that they have to get through that. But they're also very aware and very intelligent of what's going on around them, and orangutans are notoriously, I think, very smart and a little sneaky sometimes and mischievous. And you know, they'll pretend like they're watching something over here, but you've accidentally left a tool down there and they know it. And the minute that you're doing something over there and they're looking that way, they'll grab a stick and pull the tool in. You know, so we're always on top of things. Sandra
She's beautiful.
came to us from Buenos Aires, Argentina, where she is the only orangutan in the world to receive non-human legal personhood rights at a court of law from a judge in Argentina. And she was in a small zoo in Buenos Aires and alone for many years, and some welfare groups decided she really needed companionship and more opportunities, so they sued for her welfare, and the judge granted her legal non-human personhood rights because she wanted to say, she wanted people to know that they have the right to be expected. They're not chattel. They're not a chair that you own. They have rights. And no, she can't vote. You know, people always say, well, what's her rights? No, she has the right to be respected. She has the right for choices. She came here a little over 3 years ago, and we did speed dating for her, kind of. Not really, but we had different males come by the tunnels and a couple females. Well, she fell in love with Jethro. And Jethro has been her companion for 3 years, and I don't see him. I think he's somewhere out in the tunnels. We may find him. But they are a wonderful couple and so loving, and yeah, they do very well together. We're one of 7 chimpanzee sanctuaries in North America that are accredited by the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries. Sort of like zoos are accredited by AZA, sanctuaries are accredited by the Global Federation. And we are, however, the only orangutan sanctuary in North and South America. So Archie is Keegan's younger brother, and he is 18 and just got his flanges, his adult male flanges, just this last year. And you can see he's a very handsome male. Big entrance. So one thing that's very important to know is the sanctuary ethic is no breeding. We don't produce more babies just to be in captivity. So we have practiced birth control here for 30 years. And 3 years ago, we, even with birth controlled parents, we suddenly discovered a baby right before the pandemic started, February 2020. So this is a 3-year-old orangutan that we were not expecting. But the joy of this, the great brilliance of this, is her mother, Sunny over there, is 40. She had 3 babies in Hollywood, all pulled from her. She never got to raise a baby. She has raised this baby beautifully.
So what you're seeing right now is 3-year-old Kahaya, her mother Sunshine, and then this is her aunt Keegan. So Keegan is actually the sister of Kahaya's father, who's Archie. He also lives in this group, the largest group of orangutans that we have here at the center. So since we are a sanctuary, we provide homes for great apes that have either been pets or were used in entertainment in the past. So we have very limited space. So part of our ethics as far as being a sanctuary is we don't breed, because then that ends up taking a space that, you know, could be used for another ape that might need to be rescued. So that is something that we normally don't do. In the entire history of the Center for Great Apes, we have never had an accident. But yes, we do. Most of the males are vasectomized, or if they're not, the females will be put on actually a human birth control pill. They're very similar to humans, so any of the medicines that we take, they can also take. So Sunshine was on birth control from the moment she got here. And we had no idea she was pregnant. We had no idea at all. We weren't looking for any signs of it because it just wasn't something that we had anticipated or that we had ever seen before here. So yeah, we had no idea she was pregnant, and then we came in on February 6, 2020, and came in, everything was normal that morning. I was actually training a different caregiver, a new caregiver here that day, And Sunshine was acting a little off. She was kind of pacing a little bit, but I didn't really think much of it. And we went back inside for a few minutes, and then when we came back outside, that's when we found Kahaya. So it was extremely shocking and surprising. This is not something we had ever anticipated. I feel, for myself personally, I feel very prepared for all types of emergency situations and things like this, but this was nothing that I was prepared for at all in any way. So it was very, very shocking. So I called for the supervisor right away when I first saw the evidence that there was a birth. I didn't see Kahaya at first, so I called with kind of urgency in my voice. You know, I need you to come to see too. I thought someone was maybe injured, and then as I was inspecting them to see if I could get a better view of where the injury might be, that's when I saw the little fluff of hair that Sunshine was holding on her body, and then I was really shocked. So then I called back and I said, I need you here right now, because that's just something we, never ever anticipated. But so it was definitely a state of shock at first, and then making sure everybody was okay. And then it just turned into emotion, just a lot of emotion. I cried a lot. I was like, oh my gosh, Sunshine, just had a baby. But yeah, so then she ended up being such a miracle, especially the time she was born, right at the beginning of the pandemic and everything. She just really became such a source of light for us here at the sanctuary.
For much more on this sanctuary and how you can help, go to the Center for Great Apes.org. Coming up next on Animal Outtakes, second chances at life, from a teeny tiny Tinkerbell to a sickly sea turtle. We find out how these animals found their way back home. That's next.
Good morning, Mr. Benson. Your breakfast is served.
Time for another day in doggy paradise. I sure am one lucky pup.
For much
Mr.
more
Benson,
about the ride
would you like to go
and its
out for your
history,
morning
you can
stroll?
log on to
The weather is quite lovely today.
FloridaCrackerTrail.org.
That sounds wonderful.
They've also
Don't
got
mind if I do.
an active social media
After all that
presence.
exercise,
If you're
I think
interested
I'd like
in
to
learning
lounge
how
by the
you
pool
can become
and maybe
involved.
dip my paws in.
As you wish, sir. Right this way.
Ah, what a perfect day. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else but Dante's Den while Mom and Dad are away.
At Dante's Den, we pride ourselves in providing the best experience for your beloved pup. Whether it be a day, a month, or a year, Dante's Den should always be at the top of your list for boarding. With an expansive campus, your dog will enjoy daily walks, pool time, and an endless supply of love. Even better, it's all under 24/7 supervision from our wonderful staff. If you're anything like us, your dog's safety and happiness come first. To learn more about Dante's Den, visit dantesden.org.
Every dolphin at Clearwater Marine Aquarium has an amazing tale. They're all rescues who have overcome challenges to survive and thrive. You'll be inspired by every animal story and unforgettable moments with them, including 2-year-old Apollo, our newest rescued dolphin. There's something inspirational for every kid, and kid at heart. Your visit directly supports the animal care and rescue efforts at Clearwater Marine Aquarium, celebrating 50 years of amazing tales.
You may associate the name Tinkerbell with a character out of a Disney movie. But now many on the Suncoast may think of a brave, resilient Chihuahua. Recently, a man and his pet Chihuahua fell into the waters at a local yacht club. Sarasota Police Marine Patrol officers were called to help with the water rescue. The human was rescued soon after he fell in, but Tinkerbell was still missing, and with the strong current and the darkness of night, some doubted the small dog would be found. But officers eventually spied her sitting on a piece of floating wool.
Tinkerbell has been found.
She was rescued, and an emotional reunion was to be had. It's estimated that she spent close to 40 minutes in the water. The officer, Michael Skinner of the Sarasota Police Department, who made the rescue, says he is now referred to by some as Officer Peter Pan.
Yeah, Tinkerbell is healthy.
Coming up next on Animal Outtakes, a recovered sea turtle named Bean is also getting a second chance at life. We'll be right back.
When these guys come in, they're always so sick, so injured. To give them a second chance to go back out is just a wonderful feeling. It's really why we're all here. The turtle is a juvenile green sea turtle. Her name was Bean. She came in with neurologic symptoms that we suspect red tide was related, as well as entanglement. So we disentangled her very first thing. Her red tide symptoms subsided. She did go through rounds of antibiotics. It was about 100 days in rehab, and we were able to release her this morning. So red tide for sea turtles, they become neurologic affected. They're ingesting this through their food source, and what we see with them are things like loss of coordination, we see tremors, and they very much struggle to breathe properly. So it can be fatal to these guys if they're not found in time. It is case by case, but it very much can be a tough job. You definitely see, you have your fair share of sadness, but it's days like this that make it all worthwhile to see them go back to the wild. This is really close to where she stranded at originally. So MOAT doesn't choose these locations for release. FWC does, they're a permitting body. She stranded on Holmes Beach, but FWC does like this spot. It's a little quieter, and it does give the animal sort of a choice to where they could either go straight out into the Gulf or sort of meander here in the bay. We would find these turtles in this area. Water temp today is about 68 degrees, I believe. Gorgeous day. Yeah, we'd love to see it when it's nice and flat and calm. Right now, she's probably calming down and reorientating herself. But in no time, she'll start acting, behaving just like a wild sea turtle again. So it's wonderful to see. The reality is any patient that comes in for rehab, they would not be alive today if not for that effort. Sea turtles, all 7 species, are endangered or threatened. So to give these guys with such low numbers in the wild a second chance is it's a great feeling. Bean will hopefully grow up, make it to adulthood, and contribute to the next generation of sea turtles.
And stay with us. There's more Animal Outtakes coming up next.
have 1-year-old Gracie here today with us. Gracie is a Turkish Akbash mix. So she was on death row in Texas, and a nice lady adopted him and then brought him to Dante's. She is a very playful, family-oriented dog that needs a huge backyard, someone to wrestle and love her because she enjoys playing 24/7. She has got a lot of go in her. So what we do here at Dante's with her is we play with her constantly. She gets work on her general obedience, and she gets a lot of playtime, right? Because this young lady, that Turkish Akbash Lab mix that she's got, she is high energy and full of wanting to spend time with people and to play. Huh, baby girl? Yes, you do, huh? I bet you if someone else had a dog treat, you'd go run into them, huh? Yes, you would. So she's a very happy dog. She, again, would love to have a large family, large backyard, kids to play with. Gracie, hip, come. She's not high maintenance because of the energy. She just needs, when I say a family, I'm talking 8, 10-year-old kids, 8 to 10 to 12-year-old kids that can be outside and play with her. 2, 3, 4-year-olds are a little too young. She is a barrel of bull right now. She likes to play and she runs hard.
For more on the training programs and the adoptable dogs at Dante's Den Foundation, log on to dantesden.org for more information. Animal Outtakes is produced by Dante's Den Foundation, a nonprofit group dedicated to creating the best life for dogs. If you would like to learn more about Dante's Den, donate, or volunteer, visit our website, dantesden.org. We hope you had fun and learned a thing or two along the way. We'll be back here again next week with even more animals and some wild adventures. Until then, thanks for watching.
We've got 2 elderly males in here now that we took from Joe Exotic, the Tiger King. Right before he went to jail. So